Okay, looks like we're live here, so good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, the 18th of September, 2009. Let me just get my screen situated here so you can see everything that I'm looking at. And we'll go ahead, let me just link this up. And let me see, 2D mix, I guess. And where'd my other thing go? Here we are. What I'm going to do today is be a little bit more organized than I have been on the previous Friday afternoons. That's because I'm not really trading that much here right now. I've got a couple small positions open that I'm going to be managing while we talk, but at the same time, I'm not going to be trading next week, so I'm trying to get out of everything before then, and that way I won't have to obsess about the market while I'm on vacation. But market obviously remains in a solid uptrend here this week. We had seen just more consistent, steady advancing in all the sectors, except for really the semiconductors. Let's take a look at the semis. The semis, you know, they're really more neutral than anything. I see a lot of people kind of growing bearish on this group, but we're in an uptrend. We're above horizon 50-day moving average. We're holding this trend line. In fact, that acted as some pretty good support this week, this rising trend line here. So that's something to keep an eye on next week, I think. Breaking back below, really probably 25 would be a reason for a little bit more concern. But even still, I don't think there's really big damage done, that needs to be worried about as far as the overall health of the semiconductors until we get maybe below 24, and that just doesn't look like it's likely to happen here. So we've got to, just maintain focus on price action and look at these markets and say, yeah, they've come a long way pretty far, pretty fast. But at the same time, there's when there's no evidence of selling. It's just kind of foolish to get involved for anything other than a short-term scalp on the short side. You can see here, on the 10-minute time frame, the semiconductors doing. Yesterday they had broken this level here. This is about 2450. I told subscribers that if they can clear back above 2450, that would be a positive thing for the market. This week, and in particular, if they can close back above that 5-day moving average. So all in all, you look at the financials. The financials are in a great uptrend. I mean, we had very short-term pullback in here. Now we're getting a little bit more support, but it's above a rising 5-day moving average. We've got previous levels of resistance, which should act as support. So no real damage done in this group until I think we break below about 1485, 1480. How can you argue with a trend that's just this strong and this persistent? It's no different than the people who were trying to pick a bottom all the way down last year and the year before. Picking a top is just as hard. So if you're looking for short-term exposure, you do it on a 1-minute time frame. And let me just snap to the window here. And here's today's action in the financials on a 1-minute time frame. We just saw that basically I think a lot of people are looking at this market as overcooked and are looking to be first to get in for the reversal. There's no sign of the reversal yet. So I think that what I'm hoping is that next week it turns out to be a chop fest. That we're just going to have a lot of back and forth action in the sectors overall. But what I think is a lot of times when that happens is that we have still a lot of good opportunities in the individual stocks because there's still such strong bullish setups in so many sectors right now. Financials though, squeezing the shorts in here a little bit this afternoon. The IYR continues to behave real well. Also, it's broken resistance this week. It ran a couple points. Now a little further consolidation. There's no reason to think that that the commercial real estate has made any type of topping action for more than quick intraday trade. Look at the weekly volume that we've seen in here. Just a solid, heavy volume breakout. It's a stair-stepping higher highs and higher lows. Don't look at the headlines. Look at price action. Price action is still real favorable in all these groups. So what I wanted to do today was, like I said, make it a little bit more focused, because I tend to get unfocused here because I'm looking at the market in live positions at the same time. I've got a bunch of stocks I want to look at for subscribers, and I narrowed that list down for you guys a little bit. But these are some stocks that I think are worth looking at next week. So I've got a few different sectors that I'm looking at here, and then so we'll break it down that way. First up, some of the you'd seen the I tweeted the options play in Patterson Energy, and it was a trade, and a lot of times the front month options, they give you a lot of leverage. They allow you to leverage time and capital because there's only a few days. So we had gotten involved at 25 cents, out of some at 50 cents, 75 cents, and then the rest at 75 cents right there. So, those options right now are going to be worth probably about 15 cents bid, 20 cents offered. So it was the right thing to take the profit in there. But if you look at the chart of Patterson, it's still really favorable here. We had seen the break past this $15 level on some volume, and now the last 2 days it's pulled back. So I think that next week, this is something definitely worth keeping an eye on. We've got a rising 10, 20, 50-day moving average in here. We look at a weekly time frame, we can see that it's got this real nice base that it's put in. You could call this an ascending triangle if you like, but it looks like it's still got plenty of room, maybe even just up to this level here, which would be, where's my triangle, about 17 and a half, 18 bucks a share, which obviously is a very nice percentage move from here. So that's in the oil exploration area. Another stock that looks pretty much the same, but maybe just holding on to its gains a little bit better, is CRZO. CRZO did break out here, on a nice increase in volume, lower volume pullback. What we want to see is that that it doesn't break below this prior resistance level. Resistance broken should act as support on the pullback. We look at a 30-minute time frame, we can see that we've got a nice pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It's riding this 5-day moving average, and I think it's probably going to need to, maybe it might even break below that. You don't want to buy this stock until on the 10-minute time frame. And this might not occur till maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, which would be maybe another bout of lower highs and lower lows, then a little sideways action, and then maybe something above $25 a share. I don't like to buy pullbacks. I like to buy stocks that have pulled back once they re-exhibit strength. That's the idea of trend alignment. We've got an uptrend here on the daily time frame. We've got an uptrend on the weekly time frame. But on the 10-minute time frame, we've got a downtrend. So let's see if this downtrend can turn neutral and then back up, because that's when the trends would be aligned and we want to get back involved again. So KWK is another stock in the exploration area. Real nice bullish looking weekly time frame, the daily time frame as well. No reason to buy yet. We want to see that this level that it broke out past from at about $12.50 a share holds as support. But right now, no reason to buy when we've got a short-term trend lower. So this is another one. It probably needs a couple days, and obviously, the sectors run pretty much together. So this is, this sector, the way that Patterson, Carrizo, and KWK are acting, we're going to want to see them kind of all act the same way. Another one in this group that had a great run this week was Rex Energy, REXX. So great looking weekly time frame. This is probably the type of stock that I like to trade the best. It's 466,000 shares is its average daily volume over the last 20 days. We can see here it got going though on 2 million shares. So this is the type of stock that in my mind could this is this nice low volume pullback we're looking for in a slingshot higher once it breaks maybe this level. I don't know, it's not developed yet, but these are this is just creating a watch list for next week more than anything. Okay, so on to some coal names, because coal had a great run this week. Look at Arch Coal in the breakout here on the weekly time frame. Just a perfect breakout. And this if you're an investor, this is the type of stock you're looking for in my mind. I don't know anything about the fundamentals of coal, nor am I particularly interested in reading volumes to learn about mining capacity and all that nonsense. What I'm interested in is we've got a stock that's going up on big volume. Now it's starting to consolidate. The volume is already starting to diminish in here, even on an options expiration day. So we want to see this pullback develop further. We want to see that this pattern of higher highs and higher lows, what we want to see happen is, it goes like this, and I'm kind of drawing, let's say we're about right here. Okay, so what we would want to see on this 10-minute time frame is something like this, and it's not drawn to scale. In other words, on these days, but something like this. So we want to see this pullback continue to make these lower highs and lower lows. Then we see it start to go sideways. It makes a series of higher lows, and then it breaks past here and shows some higher highs to go along with it. And that is when we would want to get involved, because that would be a trend that is aligned on the daily, the weekly, and the intraday time frame as well. So that's the way that we want to look at that. Let me, I've got some of this. This is a stupid stock, but I'm going to get out of it. It's this glue. I've been sniffing glue again today, thinking that this thing might run. I didn't really even want to mention this stock. It's got good volume, it's got a good chart, but it just can't seem to get up past this 120 level. I own it at, what do I own it at? Oh, I own it at $1.18. So I own 5,000 shares at $1.18, and I don't think I'm going to get it. You know, what I'll do is I will, this is pretty cool here, by the way. I just found these buttons that I created on Realtik, where I can just go in and I'll press this button here that says 5,000. What's going to happen is it's going to show volume right here of 100, but it's going to put in a reserve amount automatic 5,000. So I'll click the 1,000 first. Watch what happens. So it shows size is 100, reserve is 1,000. Well, I have 5,000 to sell, so I'm going to click that. You can see it's showing 100, reserve is 5,000, and I want to sell it at $1.20. So I'm just going to click $1.20. That goes in there, and now I'm going to offer that out. So I'm offering 5,000 shares. If I don't get taken on this pretty soon, I'm just going to smash the bid. So, anyways, let's see if I can, take 2 pennies out of it. But I didn't really want to mention that stock because it's really pretty speculative. It only trades 600,000 shares a day, and it's glue. I mean, glue mobile. But a chart's a chart. Look at this weekly time frame. To me, this is something worth watching probably next week as well. I would suggest actually that you buy it at $1.20 right now and get a head start for next week. I'm kidding, of course, because you'd be buying it from me. But ACI, back to the coals. ACI pulling back, beginning to pull back nicely, as is BTU, another coal play that's broken out, lower volume on this consolidation. Beautiful looking weekly time frame. I actually like ACI better. PCX is a real nice looking lower priced one at $12.50 a share. Beautiful breakout here, large volume on that advance, low volume on the pullback. Got a couple more coals. I'm gonna mention those for subscribers. Let's take a look at gold. Gold stocks. Let's take a look at GLD first. Gold itself. Gold is holding up really pretty impressive for the most part to its gains. It's we're starting to see this little trend develop. I think if that breaks, you might get a little shakeout, but nothing that's nothing that would hurt this trend. Just a little shakeout and maybe a little bit of a time correction from GLD. Anyways, let's take a look at some of the stocks. Let's take a look at GDX, which is the gold mining ETF. Broken out, holding on to its gains. Some of the better ones, I think, are still this Coeur d'Alene. Broken out here. This is one of the main ones to keep an eye on. You can see here on the 10. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. It's pretty neutral, really. 20 to $22 a share. But these are just some of the things I would be watching next week for further upside. I'm also in some of this PAET as well, which is. This has got a great looking chart here. I suggested this to subscribers last night. It had getting ready to break out. It did break out today. Weekly time frame, just a real nice pattern here. If I wasn't going on vacation, I wouldn't be looking to sell this thing. So I've got to sell this in the next 15 minutes or so. But real nice volume on this move. More than average daily volume about 670,000 shares. It's traded 2.5 million shares so far, and it's it's behaving well. Anyways, back to the golds. CDE I like, but it's the range bound. IM Gold, IAG up at all-time highs, as is CDE. No, CDE. I'm sorry, I was thinking of something else. CDE I like this weekly because it's still got a lot of room to run, it appears. But the IAG is up at all-time highs, you can see, and you know, it's holding on nice. We can probably draw a trend line that looks like that right now. Starting to stabilize, maybe clearing new highs next week. This thing could continue to go. It holds up one of the best in there. A silver stock I like, I think I mentioned on Wednesday, is Pan American symbol, PAAS. This stock is flirting with some resistance at 25. Up through 25, I think it could be making a run for 30. I'm looking at a 30-minute time frame here. Same thing. They've all kind of gone a little bit neutral, range bound. We're at the bottom end of the range. I don't like to buy down here. If you're the type of person that likes to buy at support, you know, to me it's risky. I like to buy as the momentum regathers and the market breaks out. But really, I mean, above 24.75 next week, maybe even above, getting back above that 5-day moving average, you start to see a little bit of momentum develop. Just seeing a little bit of stuff pulling in right now. It's what's got my attention on the other screen. Doesn't look major though. Royal Gold is this one here. This is this is one that gets really going real nice. It hasn't done much on this move so far, but if you look at this resistance here on the daily time frame, this has probably been one of the best performing gold stocks over the last 10, 15 years. It makes these huge runs, it digests them, and now breaking past and clearing that 50 level in particular. This is one of the better trading stocks in the gold sector. Probably needs to clear back above here at least, just to kind of say that this was a shakeout, and then maybe you can get going higher. So no one's taking my offer in that glue, but pay it's still doing good. The IYR, the second shoe, everyone's favorite sector, still to hate. Weekly time frame, we've got it looking great. It looks real nice on the daily time frame as well. It's holding up. Maybe if it breaks 44, we get a small pull back down towards 42 next week. But this isn't what a top looks like. It just doesn't run up and then cave in. Not usually. I mean, if you're long these, you protect yourself with a stop, maybe under there. But some of the better looking REITs to me right now are BRE Properties, BRE. This one on a weekly time frame, it's clearing this resistance, which is obviously going to look very similar to the IYR. The daily time frame, we've run up. We probably need to consolidate these gains a little bit before getting involved in it. But again, you want to look to the short-term time frames for where to get involved. Simon Property Group is one of the biggest components of that IYR, and it's actually it's leading this sector. So even if you're not going to trade it, keep an eye on Simon Property. DRE is a nice $12 one. It's broken some important resistance in here recently. That resistance is pulling back on later volume in here. The volume kind of getting skewed because of this big volume candle, but backing up to a weekly time frame, this is stage 1 accumulation. This looks like stage 2 uptrend. If it breaks down, then you've got to abandon it. But right now, it's starting to pull back, maybe getting back up above 13 on this stock. I'd like to see it run up to 13, pull back, make a lower, see if it pulled back to there, and then make kind of a low here. Then you could call this a little inverted head and shoulders pattern on a 10-minute time frame. Clearing that 13, you would set your stop maybe under 12.55 or something, but worth keeping an eye on. As is, here's a couple stocks that look. Again, this is a very abbreviated list, but just wanted to give you an idea of some sectors and stocks to take a look at for next week. These are just some stocks that, in general, look pretty vulnerable. So, one stock that looks vulnerable is FTI Consulting, symbol FCN, Frank Charlie Nancy. You can see this one is. Here's what takes my attention away from the screen, by the way. Is, I'm looking at these tickers, okay? And this shows new highs and new lows for stocks that are on my watch list. This is, I run 2 of those, one on my master screen and one on the stocks that I've kind of been paying more attention to this week. Anyways, when I see that lighting up, BWin is getting some strong momentum. Let's take a look at EWEN. On a 10-minute time frame, you can see it's this is running real strong. So anyway, there's great way to identify some momentum in the market. But let's go back to where we were. I promised you I was going to stay more focused this week. FCN is looking vulnerable on a daily time frame. However, on the 30-minute time frame, it's stubbornly making this pattern of higher highs and higher lows. There's no reason to be short this. It's making these higher highs. Maybe a lower high here, so maybe next week below 45 bucks a share, the stock breaks down on the intraday time frame and then comes back down towards this level. So we can see, just a nice little low volume rally relative to the declines. So volume's the relative measurement, and we want heavy volume on the declines followed by light volume. And then heavier volume in here near the where it may be undergoing some distribution, but no reason to short it yet. You want to see that 5-day moving average flatten out, then begin to turn lower before you consider that. Gilead also, it always looks weak, so forget that. Navistar though, maybe going to make a drop down towards about 36 and a half. Weekly time frame, you can see it's had a nice recovery off the lows. A little pullback down towards the 200-day moving average, or just above it, wouldn't be out of line here, I don't think. It's broken some important support today. We take a look at the 10-minute time frame. We're getting this little consolidation in here. Maybe breaking 40 next week. It drops pretty good. But where am I? I'm going to save those ones for subscribers, but here's a couple of biotechs that I think are worth keeping an eye on next week. We got Amylin. Amylin's dropped a little bit here today, and actually the volume's a little bit. The volume must have just picked up recently, because when I looked at it earlier, never mind Amylin. It's the profit taking's getting a little too aggressive. It would stabilize in here for a day or two before I would consider that this is something you might want to get on. So let me get out of that. Over here, I'm just getting rid of this PAET at the market. So I'm out of PAET, and I've got this glue still that I'm offered at $1.20. So never mind Amylin so much. This one's doing good today. I caught this stock going again today. I was in it briefly for about a dime. Now, weekly time frame is a beautiful looking weekly time frame. There's still a lot of potential for this stock to run. What my son's up to. Anyway, we got the potential for a move maybe up to about $3 a share or so in Curis, CRIS. ANPI is a little one that pretty speculative, but if it goes, that these things go, they go nuts. Dendreon continues to act strong. There's a pretty good sized short position in there. I think they got some news, which means you probably want to stay away from it. The run-up was in front of the news. They get news, and then nothing happens. HITK, volume's a little bit, but anyways, it's pulling back. It's starting to stabilize a little bit. Maybe next week above $20 a share or so. I want to see that 5-day moving average flatten out, then the market get above that. That could be a good play potentially. And Vivus, I like Vivus. They did a secondary offering today, $10.50 a share though. Usually when this company does a secondary offering like that, it places some pressure on the stock week or so. So maybe not next week, but you look at these longer term charts in Vivus, and it's broken past out of this long coma here, and it holds up good. So it's Vivus can still be a winner, but it just got diluted a little bit today with offering. That was priced at $10.50, so initially it got a pop, so it was well received, but it takes a few days to work through that extra supply. As big hedge funds say, oh shit, let's just take the extra, take the free 60 cents that we got here from the secondary, and that puts some pressure on it. But it ends up being absorbed for hands. The secondary sometimes is good for the stock as well, because increase the visibility of the company by a wider range of market participants. I'm going to cancel this offer. I'm going to go in and hit the bid. So, okay, so I'm done with glue as well. So I'm in cash. Wait a minute. Where'd that come from? Get rid of that too. All right. So, anyways, let's. So Vivus again. I think it needs to absorb this secondary offering before it can get going higher again. But keep an eye on this one for sure next week. The home builders look as well. XHB broke out, holding up here. Weekly time frame, it's got some room to run. Here are stocks I keep an eye on. NEC DHI, you know, needs to clear this resistance. And here we see Pulte Homes needs to clear this resistance, and Ryland needs to clear this in the daily time frame. Ryland probably really needs to clear about $25 a share. Pulte 75. That's just the daily levels. Take a look at the intraday time frame. So, you know, this is good. This DHI, this D on here, we've got higher lows, repeated tests of resistance. The buyers are getting more aggressive price-wise. They're getting more aggressive time-wise. To me, it's this stock can break out. So right now isn't time to be buying it because it's basically neutral. It's holding the 500s, but it's basically neutral. So anyway. That's me. For subscribers, you know, I've got a bunch of educations loaded up to the site for next week. Those will publish. And anyways, everyone have a great week. And I hope selfishly that the market does, and all the opportunities are still here when I